everyone. Thank you for joining me for this quick seated Pilates session. So find yourself a sturdy chair, not too low, or you could pop some pillows on there to help sit you a little bit higher, or maybe even a pillow behind so you've got some support if needed and you can sit yourself forward. Ideally, no arms on the chair so that you've got room to move. But if you do have arms, just shuffle yourself forward enough so that you will have space to bring the arms down by your sides. I'm also using a mat here under the chair just so it's not going to move on the floor. So just make sure that you feel safe in whichever space you are working in today. So into sitting, shuffle forward on the chair. So we're not sat all the way back and we're not leaning into the chair. Bring yourself forward. So feet are flat, about hip width apart, and your toes are pointing forward. We're just lengthening up towards the ceiling. Find as much length as you can. And you could close your eyes if you'd like to, just to begin with, so that you can focus on your breath. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we're trying to focus the breath into our rib cage. So if you want, you could place the hands around the ribs, or maybe wrap your arms around, give yourself a hug, and think of breathing into your arms or into your hands, feeling the rib cage expanding out as you inhale, and then drawing back together as you exhale. So this breath is just bringing some new energy into the body and also just giving you a little bit more awareness of your breath and your body before we start to move. Maybe one more big breath. Resting the hands if you need to. And now could you nod your head down so you're looking towards the floor. Breathe in as you look up towards the ceiling. Breathe out as you nod back down. Maybe feeling a stretch gently through the neck. Just see how that feels. Continuing with some deep breaths as we move. Once more, up and down. Bring the head back to where you started, on top. And now turn the head, look round to one side. Breathing into the centre, breathing out to the other side. Just seeing how far you can turn in each direction, and try not to turn your body, just your head if you can. And next time, can you turn, pause just for a second, and now nod the head again, but roll down and across, lift up on the other side, and then reverse. Nod and roll, making this half circle, creating length in the back of the neck, finding a gentle stretch. Keep that moving if you can. Maybe once more to each side. And with your last one, roll into the middle, lift the head back on top, lengthen up to the ceiling. Now just bringing the arms down by your sides, try and find some space here if you do have arms on your chair. Could you now imagine that you're trying to reach something on the floor on one side? So we're going to tip and bend the body over to one side. Maybe imagine that you've got something heavy in that hand that's pulling you down on one side. And then see if you can bring yourself back up into the middle over the hips. We try that to the other side. So something heavy in the hand and it's pulling you down on one side, and bring yourself back up. What we want to avoid is coming forward and looking down towards the floor. Try and stay up and look forward as you reach down. And could you breathe in as you reach down towards the floor? Breathe out as you pull yourself back up. So we should be feeling a change in the side of the body. One side gets shorter, one side gets longer. And you could stick with this small movement if you need to. Or now, could we just reach one arm up towards the ceiling? Just find some length here. Imagine that you're trying to touch the ceiling, almost lifting yourself off the chair on that side, and then lower the arm back down. Try the other side. We reach up, lift through that side of the body, lower the arm down. And again, breathing in as we lift up, breathing out as we lower down. Trying not to sink in the middle, stay lengthened up. And so like I said, you could keep the arms down and go from side to side, or this time could we lift the arm again, but now reach over your head. So it's a similar stretch, but we're reaching the arm and we're creating more space, more length down the side, and then lifting back up and lowering the arm. Other side, we reach up and over. Again, we're looking forward, not flexing and looking down towards the floor. Could you think of breathing in as you reach up and over, breathing out to come up and lower the arm. Once more on each side. Back into the middle. Let's cross the hands over the chest now, relax the shoulders down, and we're twisting head, neck and spine together, round to one side. Try not to move the legs across. Breathe in as you come back into the middle, breathing out to the other side. Breathing into center, breathing out to twist. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Always a great movement here for the spine, working the waist, the abdominals. And you can stay in this position if you need to. Or we're going to change for a bow and arrow. Reaching the arms in front of you, shoulders down the back. Imagine that you're pulling back a bowstring. So one arm is pulling back, elbow points behind you, and you can look to the elbow as it points back. Breathing in as you reach forward, breathing out on the other side. And again, keeping the arms a little bit lower than your shoulders so they don't creep up. And watching that you're not leaning back into the chair. Trying that once more, each side. And then we can rest those arms, just give them a quick shake off if you need to. Let's take our attention down to our feet. And if you need to look down for this, that's absolutely fine. If it helps you to find that connection down to the feet, do that if you need to. So could you think of trying to lift all 10 toes off the floor, but the ball of the foot is staying down. So that's the tricky part. And then we lower the toes and imagine that you're just trying to grip the floor. So they might curl in a little bit. And then we try that again. Toes up as much as you can, and then toes gripping the floor, curling in. If it's helpful, you could place a folded towel just underneath your feet. So then you've got something to actually curl into and try and grip. That might help. So give that a try if you want to. We're just trying to move through the toes as much as possible. Just waking up the feet a little bit. So maybe one more time, just lifting the toes up. And one more time, just curling those toes in. And then let them spread out into the floor. Could you now lift one heel up and down, and the other side up and down? So we alternate. And let's just have a quick check. We're not sinking back into the chair. We're not slumping down in the middle. Stay lengthened up as you move through your feet. Like I said before, maybe place a pillow or two behind you to help sit you up if you need that extra support. And you could stick with this, or could you this time lift the foot off the floor? So we lift the knee towards the ceiling, working from the hip, lower the foot down, try the other side. And breathe out as you lift. Feel what's happening. If you notice that you're sinking back as you lift, maybe don't lift as high. So we keep the length up. And maybe just once more on each side. Good, let's turn that into a leg slide now. So pushing one leg away. You could slide on the floor, or you can step out if that's easier, especially if you've got carpet on the floor, and then bring that foot back in. Other side, we slide out or step out and back in. And again. So you're trying to straighten the leg out as much as possible. And the further forward you are on the chair, the easier it will be for you to fully extend the leg. So do come forward if you're quite far back. And that goes for most of these exercises today. Because we want to find as much movement as we can. And the next time, let's slide away and stay there. Could you then think of pointing the toes away and then flexing so toes are pointing up towards the ceiling? So we're working through the ankle, pointing the toes away, pulling the toes up. And you might also feel a stretch there in the calf, the lower half of the leg. So a nice way to just gently stretch things off. And the next time that you flex your foot, see if you can stay there. And you could just stay in this position, stay upright. If you're finding it difficult to keep the foot flexed and the foot's just dropping away, then either grab yourself a band if you have one, or even just a long scarf, or a pair of tights even can work the same way. Hook it around your foot and you can gently pull so that you find the flexion there through the ankle, and that might help you to hold the stretch. So do that if you need to. Or we're going to add to it a little bit more. We're going to hinge forward. Hands on this bent knee, not the straight one. Keep pulling the toes towards you if you can. So now you might notice there's more of a stretch up through the back of the leg, through hamstrings. You might even feel it higher up, round the hip, into the back. So we're going to hold it here and just take, 3 or 4 deep breaths. But if you want to hold it for longer, you could do. Then sit yourself up. Keep that leg straight. Again, you could hold that stretch for longer if you want to, or this time we're going to try a lift. So could you lift the heel off the floor, lift the leg, lower back down. And again, maybe 5 or 6 of these. Use your breath out as you lift. Try not to slump back. So a smaller lift if you're finding that difficult. We might have a bit of a shaky leg here, it's working hard. When you've done that last one, just lower it down. Bring the foot back in. Let's swap. Change legs. Out in front of you, other side. Let's move through the ankle. Toes up, toes away. Flex, point. And it might feel different this side. Maybe it's easier, maybe it feels a little bit tighter. And that's perfectly normal for one side to feel different. Or maybe they're about the same. Next time you flex your foot, see if you can stay there. Toes up. Again, you could hook a band round if that's helpful to help keep this position and hold the stretch. You could then also lean forward, hands on this bent knee, and we hold the position. Maybe 3 or 4 breaths, or a little bit longer if you want to. Keep the foot flexed. And then sit yourself back up. Keep this leg straight. Either stay in the stretch or let's try a lift again. Up and down. Up to 6 if we can get there. Use your exhale. Try not to sink back into the chair. And bring that foot back in. Well done if you manage those. Let's bring the feet a little bit closer together now. We're going to try some zigzags. If you need to slide on the floor, that's fine. Or let's see if we can find a little bit of range through the knees and the hips. So we're going to turn the heels out first and then try and turn out the toes. And then we do that again, heels out, toes out. So we end up in this wide position and then we try and reverse and come back in. Toes, heels, toes, heels. Can we do that again? Heels, toes, heels, toes, reverse, toes, heels, toes, heels. And if it helps to really exaggerate that movement, that's fine. If you can only zigzag the once, that's fine as well. You go to where it feels right for you and comfortable. And again, the further forward you are on the chair, the easier it should be to move here at the top of the legs. Next time, let's stay there. So see how wide you can go and stay there. So check that your feet are flat. You're not rolling the feet or the knees in. If you feel that's happening, bring the feet a little bit closer together. So where we can hold this position and stay lengthened up. You've got a couple of choices. You could cross the hands over the chest again like we did earlier on. That's a little bit easier for your shoulders. Or we're going to reach the arms out this time and keep reaching. They're not going to move on their own. We're going to move from the spine, twisting round. Breathe in as you come back to center. Breathe out to the other side. So similar to the twist earlier on, but now reaching the arms. Check that the arm doesn't come across you, it stays wide. And then we twist again, pause for a second. This front hand can now reach across either to the opposite knee or down towards the foot, just as far as you feel able to reach. And then lift yourself back up into center. Other side. So we twist, hand reaching down and across, maybe towards the foot, back up and center. So think one movement at a time. Twist, reach down, lift up and center. Other side, twist, down, up, center. Let's do that once more each side. And we come back into the middle. We let the arms lower, and you could do a quick little zigzag to bring those feet back in. Hip width apart again. We're going to try a little bit of hinging. Now, what I'm going to suggest, so that we can just focus on the movement first of all, is that you place your fingers in the crease at the top of the leg. So where your thigh bone is meeting the hip, find that crease at the top of the leg. We keep length through the spine. So almost imagine that you've swallowed a big stick. You can't round over. We're going to slowly hinge forward. Feel that you are pinching the fingers there at the top of the legs. So we don't need to go too far that we're almost folding in half. We don't need to bring the body right down to the legs. You make this kind of diagonal line with your body and then simply sit yourself back up. And we try that again. Breathe in as you come forward. Pinch the fingers at the top of the legs. Breathe out as we sit back up. And again. And if this position is helpful, then just stay as you are. Or you could now let the arms join in and they just gently swing out in front of you, what feels quite natural to do as you move in this way. So you're getting the weight forward, over the feet, over the toes. And you could start to rock maybe a little bit faster, forward and back. So we work on some momentum now, a little bit more energy. And you could just keep rocking, or could you add a small lift up and back down? Only if you feel safe to do so, up and down. If you do have arms on the chair, you could use those, but try and avoid that if you can and really work through the legs. Maybe two more. And down. Take a moment, shake off the legs there if you need to. You could shuffle back a little bit if you did come forward, but we're not slumping back just yet. Let the arms rest. Sit tall one last time. Let's breathe in, lift both arms up and breathe out to circle round. Could you think that as you lift the arms, you're also trying to lift through your chest and look up? Think of following the arms. Exhale, they circle round. So a small back bend as we breathe in, lift the arms, breathe out to circle. And just one more time. Let the arms rest. Relax the shoulders. You could sit back a little bit more. And let's just take maybe 2 or 3 deep breaths here to finish. and I hope you are feeling good. I hope you have enjoyed this session. You could maybe go back and repeat that again if you want to, or maybe just add in more reps. Try and push yourself a little bit further maybe if you feel up to it today. So thank you very much. Great to have you with me. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because then you'll get notifications if I do add anything else. But lots of love from me, and I hope to have you back very soon. Bye.